Good morning. My name is Rebel and I'm the Rebel Reseller. And today I'm going to be doing one of my brand videos. I actually started it yesterday and realized I needed to do two of them because the category is so expansive. So I picked Disney, and today most of the things, I think I picked one that was at $50 and I think it goes up into the hundreds. And then the next video is actually even bigger than that. So loved doing this video because it just reminded me of all of the different characters in the Disney line that, you know, I've had at some point or I've never even seen ever. There were quite a few of those. So it's just a good reminder of things to be looking for when we're out, you know, sourcing either at yard sales, estate sales, thrift stores. The way I do this is probably, I don't know, I've probably done 8 or 10 of these videos. And the way I do it is I go into eBay. All of these are from eBay. It is the thing that I list the most on, the platform that I list the most on. So I just stick with eBay. And I type in general, Disney Plush. And then I filter it by used and then solds. But I also filter it by, especially with Disney, I had to filter it by US only because there's a lot of Disney that is international. And then I sort it by highest price. And then I just pull out all of the different ones that I want to share with you. I enjoy these, but these are really time consuming. So I don't put them out as often as I probably should. I am going to start a series of just how-to type videos. I know everybody's been asking me how I do end and sell similar, so that's probably going to be one of the next ones that I work on. But I thought I would do ones just on the different little things, you know, how to sign up for the international shipping, or how to change your listings to eBay, you know, when you're charging your customer the eBay shipping rates, those types of things that, you know, some people might get stumped on. So I'm going to make a series. Some of them are going to be super short and then some of them will be a little bit longer. All right, let's get this started. This one's kind of long because I just kept going and going and going. And because there was just so many character series that I've forgotten about, and I wanted to give you guys as many examples as I could, at least for each like movie, all the different characters. So let's just start this. All right, first one I had to share was this Chicken Little Alien and Kirby plush lot. I have found them individually. I've never found them together. It took me I remember the first time I found this alien, and I think it was before Google Lens, I had a really hard time figuring out what it was. I think at that point I had gone into a Facebook group and asked. Google Lens is just the most amazing source for us, tool for us to figure stuff out now. There's very few things that I can't find on Google Lens. So definitely be using that as your first line of trying to figure out something that you just don't know automatically. These two sold for $50, and if you see that plus FB, that's positive feedback, was left. That is the way that I determine that this was a legit sell. Now, if I can't find positive feedback, I do go back into the seller's store and make sure that it's not been relisted. That's the best I can do to make sure most of these sales are as accurate as I possibly can make them. Secret of NIM. I remember reading that book. Y'all, I didn't read a lot of kids' books growing up. When I went to college, I've probably mentioned this before, I have my bachelor's degree in elementary education, and then when I moved to Tennessee, I went back to college and got my certification in special education. That had always been my goal, was to be a special ed teacher. I lasted a few years, but I ended up staying home with my children and then never went back. But I remember this book. I loved reading it. I read so many books in college that I had never read as a child. And I think I might have read this one to my boys, but it's The Secret of Nim. This is a Dakin plush from 1982, and it sold on auction for $59.99. Rare vintage Hercules Pegasus horse. I have not seen this one in plush. I find it once in a while in figures, but they don't sell for a whole lot. Any of the Hercules figures for me anyway. This one sold for $65. Now this is another one of those brands. Individually, the plush do not sell for a whole lot, but if you can find this series, there's 6 of them here. These 6 sold for $70.50. I tried to put as many of these together, of these just what I call my bread and butter plush together as I can, just so you can bump the price. I have never heard of these, and there's a series of these. I went and looked. These are from the Kitchen Cabaret at Epcot. This series is from the 1980s. This banana was the best-selling one of all of them, and it sold for $74.99. So definitely, I wouldn't have even thought that this was Disney. So I'm going to have to pay even more attention, especially when I find a vintage plush, to make sure that I check the tags on everything. This is Copper and Todd from Fox and the Hound. These 2 together sold for $74.99. I love this. I loved the Robin Hood cartoon. And this is Sir Hiss. He is large. It says he's 30 inches. I'm not sure if he unravels, but it sold for $75 with positive feedback. Splash Mountain. I think anything you can find with Splash Mountain, you need to go ahead and pick it up, whether it's stickers, pins, anything, because pretty sure that is one of the rides that has been shut down at the Disney. This is Bear Rabbit, and it sold for $75. Lilo and Stitch. This is a large plush. A lot of the examples in these 2 videos are the jumbo size. This one is 24 inches. This is Angel, and she sold for $75. Muppets, lots of examples I'm going to be sharing in the 2 videos. This is Dr. Bunsen. It is a Nanco plush, and this one is a giant one. There was a smaller version one that did pretty good also of Dr. Bunsen, but this one sold for $75. Toy Story, several examples of those. This is again a jumbo 30-inch plush of Lotso Bear. He sold for $79.99. This one was a surprise. I pick up some zooms. Somebody corrected me in one of my videos, but I've already forgotten. Zoom. This is the Cheshire Cat. It is reversible. The pink one is on the inside of it at this point. This one sold for $79.99. Disney Treasure Planets. Again, I don't do very well with the characters for these, but I guess if you can find these in a set, this was a set of 4, sold for $79.99. This is from Finding Nemo. This was the big Mako shark hand puppet. It sold for $80. Wreck-It Ralph. Again, it's one of those I don't do very well with individually, but if you can get several or a lot of them in a lot, you tend to do a little bit better. Like this one, there was 10 plush, $80. So $8 a plush. That's probably a little bit better than I would probably get individually for each one. I try to put them in small lots as I find them. Now I have found this Oswald rabbit plush a few times, but I've not found this girl. I guess this is his girlfriend, Hortensia. 11-inch. She's from the Disney parks, and she sold for $80.99. Y'all, I mentioned this, I think, in the next video also. It's funny, when I do these shows or these videos, almost always I get a message or a comment in my videos that as soon as they watch this, somebody went and found something that I had shared with you. And yesterday, in my last What Sold, I showed you that Eden rabbit that sold for $165. And sure enough, Shannon sent me a picture yesterday that she had found one at a thrift store. So they're out there, y'all. You just got to take the time to go look for them. Hers was in a sealed bag with other plush. So if you've got thrift stores that do that, take the time to look on all sides of those bags of plush, because she found one right after I had shown that in my video. All right, this is a Disney Store original Muppet. This is Ralph the dog. I would probably have to keep this if I ever found it. But it sold for $84. This is a plush from Princess and the Frog. I did not watch that one. It says Ray Raymond the Firefly. Sold for $85 for a little 8-inch plush. Now, a lot of times I do find the little 8-inch bean plush from Disney. Most of them don't sell for a whole lot. If you can get them in lots, you'll do better. But here are examples of ones that you can find that all by itself sell for quite a bit of money. This is Marita from Brave, but this is one of the toddler dolls. Y'all, I am positive I have seen her recently. Positive. Don't know if I picked her up or not. But anyway, this is the 13-inch size, and this seller actually has several of them. This first one sold for $85. She must be harder to find. All right, I've never watched Recess Saturday morning cartoon, but I did find something recently. I can't remember what it was. But this is Gus, one of the boy characters from this cartoon, and he sold for $85. All right, this is Santa Paws plush from the Disney Store. This one sold for $89. I pick up a lot of dog plush, so if it was Disney or not, I would probably pick it up anyway and then be pleasantly surprised. Now this is Angel again from Lilo and Stitch, but this is one of those pillow pet type plush that fold. This one sold for $89.50. There's been a couple of the Disney themed pillow pets that I've done well with, so there was a time when I wouldn't have picked up any of those types of plush, but now I do at least check the comps when I find one. Now this is, I was trying to pick out as many different Disney movies and show, the plush from them. So this is from The Great Mouse Detective. This is Toby. He's a 17-inch plush. He sold for $89.95. Zazu from Lion King. This one, I think this is a larger plush. Let me scroll down. 11 inches. Yeah. And it sold for $89.99. I've had the Zazu that is like the bean plush. It doesn't sell for as well, but again, if you can get them in lots, it does better. Up, y'all. I love that movie. Absolutely love it. Makes me kind of sad though, because my mom died many years ago and the character just always makes me cry. But this is the Talking Dog series, and these 4 together sold for $90. this was a pleasant surprise. I have had this in the past, but it's been forever, and I had actually forgotten about them, so it's a nice reminder. These were called the Happy Monster Bands. I want to say there's 4 or 5 different ones, and all of them are different colors and have different instruments with them. It's been a while though, but this yellow one sold for $90. There's the red one, there was quite a few sold comps, so he must be more common. He didn't sell for as well, but they sell very good. Just another example, in my other video that I've already done that will be after this, I talk about the hidden Mickey plush. If you're not familiar with the hidden Mickeys, if you find a teddy bear and this face, look at his face, it looks just like the Mickey Mouse head, the logo for Walt Disney. This particular one is a laying down plush. You have to determine if it's pre-Duffy, they're worth a whole lot more than the Duffies. Now the Duffy bears actually have a tag on them that says Duffy. I find them not frequently, but you know, several times a year I see them or I purchase them. This one I'm going to take this down so I can show you some of the pictures. It sold for $90, but let me show you. Almost always, these just have that tag, the Walt Disney World, but the pre-Duffy and nothing on the side. The Duffies, if my recollection is correct, they have a little tag on their side somewhere, and it'll say Duffy. That's not the vintage ones. These are all the vintage ones, and they do very good. I have one listed, though, that's been listed a while. I need to readjust the price because it's one of the plain brown ones that's not as highly sought after. All right, I'm going to have to pay attention to the Pooh plush because there were several examples of ones that are quite unique. And, you know, if you're not checking comps carefully, you might just list it as what other 14-inch plush are listed for Pooh. And not realize you've got something specific, you know, something special. Now, a lot of times if you find a plush that has the Disney theme park logo, you definitely need to pay attention to those to see if they're worth more. I think a lot of those could only be bought exclusively in those theme parks, so not everybody has that opportunity. But this one is just more of the yellow, has a pink shirt on. They say scruffy. I'm not sure if that's just describing the fabric or if that's actually a term for that type of plush. But this one sold for $90 with positive feedback. This is, again, from the Brer Rabbit series. This is the frog from Splash Mountain. I've never seen it before. There were several examples of this one also. This particular one sold for $90. Now, I've had this before, so definitely put this one in your brain because it does really well. This is from Parent Trap, and this is Haley's Cuppy Bunny Rabbit plush. It sold for $90.25, and it's in rough condition. Jimmy, these are called greeters. They are able to stand up by themselves. This is Mickey and Minnie Mouse. They sold together for $95. Shere Khan, I loved Jungle Book. This is a 17-inch plush. I've noticed quite a few in doing this research put the word stamped in there. I'm pretty sure it's referring to the little stamp that they put on them. Let me see if I can find it. Nope. Oh yeah, here. This little stamp. The circle thing that says that it's a Disney original. Shere Khan sold for $95. This is an example of Figment. I find Figment a couple of times a year, but it's usually just the small ones. They sell okay for me. But definitely if you find one that's unique and different. This is a huge 30-inch plush, and he sold for $95.08. Disney Buddies. I have a set of these listed right now, not these exact ones. I used these comps though to set the price on mine. This was a set of 5 and they sold for $100. Now, here's an example of 101 Dalmatian plush. The thing that sold these for $100 is this little tag that's on each of their necks. They are just a Velcro back. They easily get taken off by kids and lost, thrown away, chewed up by the pet. So if you find one of these plush, and really it doesn't matter about the condition other than if it's totally destroyed, it's that collar that is like it for collectors. These four, like I said, sold for $100. Now, I pick up a lot of poo. I love poo. In fact, I think I've got this little blue rabbit one I'm about to list. This is just another example of if you've got quite a few of them, put them in lots. This lot of 12 sold for $100. A lot of times they are my bread and butter. Lots of Bear in the Big Blue House. This was one of the larger ones. They called him Jumbo. He's from 2000. He sold for $100. But pretty much any character that's Bear in the Big Blue House tends to do quite well, and I would encourage you to pick them up. Stinky Pete from Toy Story. I've never found him. This looks like one of those based on the tag that I'm seeing. The Disney beans, but they're called star beans. And this particular one sold for $100. All right, Alice in Wonderland. This, I guess, are the Flamingo Croquet Mallets. They are 28 inches. This was a set of 2, $100. All right, Bonkers D Bobcat. I don't remember this series. It says 1990s TV series Police. It sold for $100 with positive feedback. All right, Robin Hood and Maid Marian. This set of 2 sold for $100. Herbie the Love Bug. I remember watching that. The male character in that series, he was in so many Disney movies. I cannot remember his name, but he was in so many of them. But if you ever find a Herbie the Love Bug, this one sold for $100. It looks to be in really good condition, and you can tell from the picture that that's just those iron-on felt accents all over it. So the fact that it has not been totally destroyed. Another example of a jumbo plush. For the most part, Pluto does not sell very well for me. I still pick them up. I tend to try to put him with other characters. This one on auction sold for $100. I think I had another example of this series. They must be like Disney Store type exclusive stuff because I've never seen one before. I've got another example in the other video that's higher dollar, but this was just a series of 5 of these NUIMOS plush. It sold for $100. Little Einsteins. This series of toys, there are the characters in like vehicles. Those do really, really well. There is these dolls that have like the hard vinyl heads. Some of them talk. Anytime you find little Einsteins, definitely check the comps. But if you can find a series of them together, it's gold. This is 4 of the characters, and they sold for $103.50. Build-A-Bear. This is Maleficent from Sleeping Beauty, she sold for $105.50. All right, this is a large 18-inch Finding Nemo Dory plush. Again, I'm going to have to pay attention because something tells me I've had this maybe only 12-inch, maybe 15-inch, not 18-inch. But if you find a larger size plush, be sure to check Tara Peak. It goes back 2 years now. I think I'm going to start doing more of my research through Tara Peak only. I know my friend Beth does, because I'm noticing in the comps, a lot of times the price isn't correct. What you're seeing, even if it doesn't have the line through it, you need to pay attention and go on into Tara Peak to make sure, because there was a lot of things that I saw that it said it sold for, you know, $135 when Tara Peak is showing it sold for $50. So you need to be careful with that. But I also I think I need to make sure I do more of my research in Tara Peak, because who knows, any other plush that somebody might have listed a general of a Dory plush, they might have listed it only for $24.99. And unless you go in there and make sure you're getting the comps for an 18-inch plush, and who determined which way was 18 inches? Is it 18 inches long? Is it 18 inches tall? All of those factors need to be taken into consideration. And I think you're going to get a wider view of comps if you're going into Tara Peak, because it does go back 2 years. Anyway, this Dory sold for $110, if I haven't said that already. All right, Phineas and Ferb. I enjoyed that cartoon. I didn't watch it a whole lot, but when RJ was younger, he loved it. So it was on quite a lot when TV was on. This is Isabella. I know the sister, I forget her name, sells for really good also. But this is Isabella, and she sold for $110. More examples of different types of Winnie the Pooh. These, the fabric is chenille. It's just a different texture on it. Again, it's a series of 4, and they sold for $113. Disney DuckTales. I have a set of these listed, but mine are different. Mine don't have this type of fabric. But again, I used these higher comps to price mine also. This is Huey, Dewey, and Louie, and they sold for $115. I've never heard of Disney Munchlings. Haven't seen them yet, so it wasn't brought to my attention. But I guess these are some Expo exclusive. This is Lady and the Tramp. She sold for $116.99. All right, these Disney princesses. These are the ones that are like 18 to 20 inches. Usually I pass on them, but I'm going to have to, again, if I can get many of them together at one time, you know, for 50 cents a dollar, I might consider buying them. This was actually, I think I read it's a set of 15 of these Disney dolls, and they sold for $120 with positive feedback. Guardians of the Galaxy. This is Rocket the Raccoon. It is a backpack plush. There were quite a few examples of this. Sold for $120. Another jumbo size plush. This one's 28 inches. This is Lilo from Lilo and Stitch. Sold for $124.95. Aristocats. Usually the one that I find the most of is Marie. And she doesn't sell for a whole lot, but she does sell frequently for me. But this is, don't know, the black kitty cat. I'm not even going to try to say his name. If you find him, definitely pick him up. $124.99. And I don't think he's very big. No size. But he just doesn't look very big to me. I have found him only one time ever, and it was back many, many years ago, and I ran an auction on him. I want to say he sold $80, $90, even way back then. I've never found him again. This is Little Mikey from Monsters, Inc. This one does have the hard plastic eye. There is another version of him that the eye is fabric. This particular one sold for $124.99. Never heard of this one either. This is Ballad of Nessie. I'm assuming this is the Loch Ness Monster. It is a 15-inch plush, sold for $125. Disney Lady and the Tramp. I found these plush one time, but I don't remember them looking like these. They were more of a flat fabric and not furry like this one is. But definitely if you can find the two of them together, definite BOLO. These two sold for $130. Haunted Mansion. Anything Haunted Mansion. I have sold the record in the past for over $100. A lot of things are made around that series. I think these two plush, there were other plush that were different. I think these are more unique. They have this green clothing on. Probably makes it a lot more rare, but these two, Mickey and Minnie, sold for $133.13. This is Pooh from, I guess, a live action movie. This plush sold for $149.95. Last four. This is from Nightmare Before Christmas. This is Jack and Sally and Zero, played by Mickey, Minnie, and Pluto. Very cute. It says NBC plush set. These three together sold for $150. This is from 101 Dalmatians. I've never seen this plush before, so I will definitely be on the lookout for it. It is an 8-inch Thunderbolt dog, sold for $149.99. I'd say it got this price because it did have the original paper tag on it. But I don't know. All right, this is Prince Eric from The Little Mermaid. I don't think I've ever seen him as a plush doll. He's 21 inches. He sold for $149.99. And last but not least, Tutter from Bear in the Big Blue House. He has his little security blanket and cat plush with him. He sold for $150. Definitely all things Bear in the Big Blue House. Check the comps. All right. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I do have a part 2 to this that's even higher dollar stuff. And we'll probably release it either late this weekend or the beginning of next week. So I hope you guys put all of these to your memory. And then when you're out and about, if you find them, please send me a note. Post it in my Facebook group, the Rebel Reseller Hangout. Let me know that, you were able to find one of these treasures. All right, y'all. Get to work. Bye.